You are tuned in to another edition of Americana Music Profiles, brought to you by Americana Rhythm Music Magazine and AmericanaMusicMagazine.com. I'm your host, Greg Tutwiler. Let's jump right in to the next exciting interview. Darren Nicholson is a Grammy-nominated bluegrass and Americana musician from Western North Carolina. As a member of the bluegrass band Balsam Range, Darren is the recipient of 11 IBMA awards. Darren also fronts his own band, the Darren Nicholson Band, and has just released his third CD, an EP featuring the new single, Any Highway. Darren is my guest on this edition of Americana Music Profiles. Hi, Darren. Welcome to the podcast today.
Glad to be with you, bud.
Thanks for taking the time out of your nice hike on this beautiful day today in the midst of all that we're dealing with in the world.
Man, it's gorgeous. The best way to social distance yourself is to get in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and I'm 1,000 miles from anybody.
That's right, and it's a nice reminder that in spite of what's going on, we live in a beautiful world.
We live in a gorgeous world, and you know what, man? This is a great time to reconnect with nature, and I think we're going to see a global reset where you see people starting to look at what's really important and kind of disconnecting a lot from the media and getting back out to getting back close to nature, getting out. I've been doing a lot of hiking, been doing some fishing, and I'm out today just enjoying life, man.
Yeah, good for you, man. I hope we all learn that lesson and do more of that for sure.
Yes, sir.
So I presume that a lot of people know you as one of the members of Balsam Range who have been highly decorated for the music that you guys created and the shows that you put on. What, if you don't mind, let's back up just a little bit. What were you involved with before you became a part of Balsam Range?
Well, I've been playing music my whole life. My parents played music, and like I said, I'm from the mountains of Western North Carolina, and here they taught it in the schools, mountain music and dance. It was just part of the culture here, but
yeah.
My family, about everybody in my family played bluegrass and country music. And this is before they called it Americana.
Yeah.
It was just kind of country music, all that old time, and bluegrass was all under the kind of the country umbrella. And so we would have music at our house on Friday and Saturday night, and we'd have 30 people over. We'd have there'd be people sitting around playing electric guitars and banjos and
yeah,
all kinds of stuff, and so it was just nobody really put a definition on, hey, this is bluegrass, or hey, this is country. It was just kind of country people getting together, to entertain themselves. But that's how I started. And then I played music my whole life for money. Even when I was a teenager, we'd play a lot of events in the area, weddings and parties and barbecues, all kinds of festivals. And then my first professional job was in 2004. I was about 19 years old at the time, I guess. And I went to work for Alicia Nugent, who was on Rounder Records.
Yeah.
And she was hot as a firecracker then, and we were playing the Grand Ole Opry all the time. And so when I was 18 years old, I started playing on the Grand Ole Opry and just kind of never looked back. I'm still going down there and playing that thing. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So how did Balsam Range get together? They've been around for how long now? 12 years? Longer than that?
13 years. It started in 2007, in March 2007. So right now, it's 13 years.
Okay.
But in 2006, I've been with Alicia for 3 years, and during that time, we were doing the Opry, and I was touring with a guy named Merle Haggard.
Sure.
Country music icon.
Yeah.
And we opened a lot of shows for him. But then I came off the road because my son was starting school. And I started playing a few shows at home. And in 2006, when I was winding up my stint with Alicia, Buddy Melton and I, we did solo projects about the same time. And a lot of the same guys played on those solo projects, Tim Surratt and Mark Pruitt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was kind of the nucleus of Balsam Range. And at the end of 2006, I found myself at home, my son starting school, and all these other guys. Mark had came off the road with Ricky Skaggs. Tim had came off the road from the Isaacs and the Kingston, and we all found ourselves in the same county in Western North Carolina and said, hey, do you want to do a few shows together?
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, 13 years later, and we've done, I think, 14 or 15 albums.
Wow. Wow.
So you just never know what the future holds. You know?
Right. Yeah. Did you guys have any idea that the kind of magic that you've been able to create together with music was there when you started? Could you feel that, or was it not that conscious?
No, it wasn't. I think the best things kind of happen organically.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And there was honestly more business oriented. The first thoughts of getting together, the music was good, you know, but I was used to playing really good music, you know, with Alicia and that band. That was a really hot band for 2 years, and so when I came off the road, I was like, man, I just don't know if I don't know if I'll ever play music to that level again. But
wow.
Western North Carolina is the home of so many great musicians.
Right.
And so I ended up looking around in my kitchen. I'm like, hey, these guys are great, you know, and you know, this could be fun. And so the music right off the bat was good, you know, and I knew that we had something that was a little more than your local band, you know. But we kind of sat down, and what got me on board with Balsam Range is all the guys were serious about, hey, we don't want to travel anymore, but we're serious about making a living playing music, and the business part of the music part, and that's what kind of piqued my interest, because you know, a lot of people have a hard time making a living playing music, and
yeah.
And so when you can get 5 guys that are like deadly serious about the commitment of all the business parts of the music, like most people think if they play good and sing good, that things will just happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the case.
Yeah.
But it's very rare.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you know, I was kind of, these guys were all level-headed guys. They weren't at the age where they were wanting to go party and be a big ruckus all the time, you know, because that's a big occupational hazard for a lot of musicians.
Sure it is. Yeah.
They don't take it serious, you know, and these guys were all serious about it. So I knew back then that, hey, this is a good spot for me to be.
So you guys have won, like, I think maybe like 11 IBMA awards or something like that, and I'm sure there's other things in there too. You know, it just kind of seems like everything that you said just clicked. And have you been able to kind of isolate what the magic is? What is it that makes outside the business? Obviously, that's critical, but you could do everything right from a business perspective, and if you don't have the right, if the music's not there, you still don't get to make it. And there's just something special about you guys. Do you have any? Has it ever been a topic of discussion? Do you have any idea what the magic is?
Well, I think you know, the music part of it, we were just having fun, and I do think there's something about all being from the same area. Western North Carolina, there's a magic in the music here.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, great musicians relocate to Nashville, but Nashville don't produce great musicians.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like Western North Carolina produces from Doc Watson to Earl Suggs. There's a certain type of timing and a certain type of rhythm that happens in Western North Carolina when you talk about the greats of bluegrass or country music.
Yeah.
You know, from Western North Carolina, you're talking about Doc Watson, like I said, Earl Scruggs, but then you've got Mark Pruitt and Steve Sutton, Orville Freeman, Mike Hunter, Randy Davis, all these people who've had these legendary bluegrass careers. And there's something in the water here, so I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you kind of see that too, like Ohio kind of has its own kind of bluegrass sound.
Yeah.
East Tennessee, Kentucky kind of has its own kind of bluegrass sound, but there's something very distinct about Western North Carolina bluegrass, and there's an energy in it, and I think a lot of that has to do with the dance part of it. Like, we all grew up playing snare dances and flogging, and so then when we play regular songs, we still play it with that kind of rhythm and that kind of energy. But the two things I think that really stand out for Balsam Range, and we just kind of got lucky. We have 4 singers that can sing all the parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what I loved about the Eagles music is
Sure, yeah.
it didn't matter if Don Henley or Glenn Fry was singing. It was good, and you knew the harmony was going to be
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so you weren't just saying, oh, man, Don Henley's going to sing all the songs. Or it didn't matter.
Sure, yeah.
You knew that they had really great songs, material, and that's the kind of the staple for me for Balsam Rangers is the material, finding songs that are kind of universally impacting.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do a lot of hokey songs. We don't play bluegrass songs about bluegrass
Mm-hmm.
or about how country we are. Or, you know, we were doing songs like Trains I Missed and Blue Mountain and El Dorado Blues, Wide River to Cross, and songs that have more depth than just your corn husk kind of bluegrass.
Sure, yeah.
Songs, you know what I mean? And that's what I always loved about the Eagles music, you know, is they have songs that it didn't matter when they were recorded, you can relate to them today.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's what we always look for in material. And so I think those are kind of the things, having the Western North Carolina sound and a bunch of different singers in the band, so where we can do those big old harmonies and things like that, that's kind of, to me, what makes it fun and interesting, and hopefully for the listeners.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that, and you're right. There is a depth to the music that's very appealing. You want to listen to it and try to hear the story and the thoughts into the lyrics that you guys put out there. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
And, you know, for the listener, you know, having a different lead singer, a lot of times, you know, a lot of times you go hear a band, and if you listen to them for an hour or hour and 15 minutes, whatever, the same guy sings all the songs.
Right. Yeah.
And so that gets boring. Even if you love a singer, you know, it wears on the ear a little bit. And
no, that's a good point.
It's not having a variety. You know, I always say I like ice cream, but after the 3rd gallon, I just can't eat any more ice cream. So it's nice to have a little variety.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier that you guys kind of had this commitment to not wanting to be caught up in the travel aspect of it as much, and I know that for you at least, you've got other things going on. I presume that all of the guys in the band all were able to maintain a side life. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, Balsam Range has had, you know, all the success Balsam Range has had, they've done as a part-time band, basically.
Yeah, okay.
You know, when we started, we had like a seldom seen type approach just because we played a lot. In the first couple of years, we played in Western North Carolina a lot. We were doing like 200-plus dates a year. And we liked that because we'd all been traveling. We wanted to break from traveling. You know, we were playing music, good music, and making a little money and staying in our own bed every night.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a huge plus for all of us. But as Balsam Range grew, we happened to, you know, it did happen to start getting popular, and so people called us to start doing bigger shows. But we said early on, you know, we don't want to do everything. We don't want to be out there beating the road, playing every bar and every club, everything. So we did kind of pick and choose the dates that we wanted to do and try to go. You know, we want to do the Merle Fest, and we want to do the Telluride, Colorado, and things like that. It's not that the other dates aren't that important, but we all have other things going on. Like Mark, when we started, Mark was the head of soil and erosion control in Haywood, Texas. So he had a job, and he was very close to retirement. So you can't take a guy who's close to retirement and having him go play every festival all over the country.
Sure,
you know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And Buddy was working for the state of North Carolina at the time with the water department. He's a scientist, a biochemist. And Caleb was building guitars for a living, Caleb Smith. And then Tim was working with Mark in his office.
Okay.
And now that Mark's retired, Tim has his own job. So he's doing like soil and erosion control. So it's an environmental thing.
Right.
And so you know, we just trying to find that balance between family and having a career and then playing music and making a little money, making ends meet, and having fun. It's it's been hard at times because as the band grows, there's more demand.
Sure.
But at the same time, we have to say no to a lot of things, which isn't always good. But at the same time, you can't do everything.
Right. Yeah. And you've got your own side project. You have your own band, right?
I'm the only sorry one that won't work. I'll be honest with you. No, I was a banker for 10 years.
Okay.
In Nashville, North Carolina. And that's what I was doing when I came off the road to Alicia and Balsam Range started. But the last 4 or 5 years, I'm just playing music full time.
Mm-hmm.
The banking industry was changing, and I was just, music is where my heart is.
Yeah.
And that's just who I am. That's what I grew up doing. And so when Balsam Range is not on the road, I play a lot of local gigs. A lot of the stuff that Balsam Range used to do that Balsam Range kind of outgrew, I find myself doing. I do, some weddings, a lot of private parties, a lot of corporate events, and then gigs, in the area. So.
And but you've been able to record a couple records and have some charting success, though, right?
Yeah. I've done 3 full solo albums, and I'm working on a 4th. I just released an EP of 3 songs. A song that I wrote called "Any Highway" with my buddy Charles Humphrey, who's the family member of the King Rangers. We write a lot of songs together, and so that's the creative part of me. I'm also the youngest in the band too. Some of the other guys are just by default getting older, and they don't necessarily they love music, but they don't have the fire in their belly like I do. I'm 36 years old, so I'm still fairly young in the music world.
Yeah.
In the music world, it's kind of like being a supermodel. You're over the hill at 21.
Yeah. Well, there's guys in the music business that are in their 70s and 80s, at least in the bluegrass business, still kicking it pretty hard. So you got a long career ahead of you then.
Well, that's kind of why I'm doing the solo project, is I want to keep going and keep creating music and having a footprint, because someday those guys in Balsam Range will want to retire, and I've got I want to keep young when they do.
Yeah. So what's next up on tap for Balsam Range? Are you guys working on a new record?
Yeah, we're working on a brand new studio project, and we've got, I think, the best collection of songs we've ever had.
Wow.
And we just recorded 4 of them 2 weeks ago, and we were supposed to go in the studio this week, but with everything that's going on right now, they canceled the studio for a couple of weeks, and we're going to get back in there. Now it's a great time because we're not touring, and we have had some dates canceled, just because of the shutdown.
Right, yeah.
So it's a great time to go in and record, and a great time to write music, and a great time to work on the creative part of it.
And you have an album that's out or coming out personally with your band?
Well, I've got an EP that just came out. It's like 3 songs, and 2 of them, I haven't made the 3rd one available yet, but 2 of them are available on CD Baby right now for download and for sale right now. One's called "Any Highway," and the other one's called $100.
Okay.
So.
And those are actually, I think I've heard both of them on XM, right? Bluegrass Junction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they've been playing those Sirius XM, and they should be on Spotify now. They should be all those places as well for people like to sing. But Sirius XM is really good. Spotify and that's another weird time for the music world. All the downloading or the streaming.
Yeah.
Rather, it just doesn't pay the artist.
No, I understand.
Like some of the other avenues do, and I think they're still working on legislation with some of that, but it's kind of like the Wild West. Even the record companies don't know how to kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
You really have to get your streaming numbers super high in order for it to really pay off. I think 1,500 spins on streaming equals 1 album sale.
Wow. That's
so
crazy.
That kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, it certainly re-emphasizes or brings home the point that you mentioned earlier about part of the success of Balsam Range is you better know the business side of music Because if you think you can go in the studio, you can do that pretty easy now. You can do it in your basement if you have the right technology. But just because you record an album doesn't mean you're going to sell 100,000 of them either.
It could be a great album too, and you could be very talented. But the business dictates. You might be the most talented guy working at the mill down there.
Right? Yeah.
So trying to get that to translate into a career and a living is just, it's right now it's kind of it's changing right in front of our eyes.
For sure, yeah, and part of it is some changes we didn't even see coming. So it's going to be interesting to see how the festival season recovers and all that kind of stuff too. So we certainly feel for you guys out there and wish you the best and hoping everything gets restarted here soon. If people want to reach out and purchase your music or the band's music, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, and that's a great point right now. I think people they'll be chomping at the bit to get out and go to a festival when all this is said and done.
Absolutely,
yeah. Really want to support the artist. Of course, streaming, a lot of people do that, and that's awesome if you want to stream. But going to their website and buying their records and downloading their music directly is a wonderful, wonderful way to support the artist. And, it's a great time to sit at home and listen to music and fall back in love with music.
Yeah.
Music is a healing thing, and it's just a wonderful way to support the artist. My website is DarrenNicholson.net, and that's DARREN, and Nicholson like Jack, and then BalsamRange.com, BALSAMRANGE.com.
Great.
And so go support your favorite artists and check out some new music because we're still creating it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys are too, and we'll be anxious to see all of you live here, and hopefully sooner than later. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Darren. It was good talking to you, man.
Hey, I want to say thank you for putting up with me and talking to me while I'm out here hiking. I'm in the woods, and I'm breathing heavy, so if it sounds like an obscene phone call to anybody out there, I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. We know it's just you and the bears in the woods, so it's all good. At least you're not running from one. Thanks, Darren. All right, take care.
Yeah, man. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of Americana Music Profiles. Find us on iTunes at Americana Music Profiles and on the internet at AmericanaRhythm.com.